Ethereum is preparing itself for its next move, and everybody asks themselves, when will Ethereum pump? So in this video, I want to talk about several charts, and I want to talk with you about the details, like why I am thinking what Ethereum's next move will be. Because we all know what happened, right? When Ethereum kicks off, altcoins will also explode. So when is altcoin season? When is it time for us? The first thing that I want to talk about is Bitcoin dominance, because since this run, we see that it started from November 2022. We see that Bitcoin is outperforming the whole market. And there was one mistake that I've also made in the past. If you were in the market during the beginning of 2023, around maybe January, maybe February 2023, and you start buying altcoins straight away, you probably made some money, but it was a very high risk afterwards. And the reason for that is because, look, this is the Bitcoin dominance chart. And when the Bitcoin dominance chart goes up, Bitcoin is outperforming the whole altcoin market. And when the Bitcoin dominance goes down, it means that altcoins are growing faster than Bitcoin. And what we see in 2017, we saw Bitcoin was very stable. There were no altcoins and stuff like that. And out of nowhere, altcoins were exploding, and we saw the Bitcoin dominance going down all the way down to 35%. Then we saw a bear market, altcoins died, and then the Bitcoin dominance goes higher. And in 2020, the beginning 2021, it was the kickoff season for altcoins. We saw altcoins going wild, 5, 10, or 20, or maybe 50x. And yeah, it was going back to the bottom area of around 35-40%. So with this information, you need to understand that how can it make sense to buy altcoins when the Bitcoin dominance is at its lowest. So this is the first thing that you need to keep in mind. Now, the Bitcoin dominance chance of getting lower is now higher compared to going way more higher. So another chart that needs to be understood is the Ethereum Bitcoin chart. So how is Ethereum compared to Bitcoin in one chart? So you're buying with Bitcoin and spending it on Ethereum. So we saw that in 2019, the chart was going up, so Ethereum was outperforming Bitcoin. But right now, we see that since August, September 2022, Bitcoin was getting more value. So right now we are at the bottom area in this purple box. And this purple box is also a smart thing to keep in mind. Because of course we can go like this to this area, but it makes more sense if we look at the beginning of 2023 that we first go down when the Bitcoin dominance is also at this bottom. So that's the second indicator that is telling me like, hey, there is a higher chance, I'm not saying it will happen, but it is a higher chance that we are seeing that Ethereum will outperform Bitcoin. Because we all know what happens, right? Like we want to buy when nobody is interested into something. And right now nobody cares about Ethereum and altcoins. Everybody is focusing on Bitcoin. So when it was here in 2019, don't you think that everybody thought like, hey, this is not a good moment to invest in Ethereum. It is worth nothing. And I can show you that. Like go to Bitcoin, put in the chart, and we see that here, Bitcoin was not doing bad. It was just like it came from around 3,500, and here in this zone, it was at an average of 9,000. And the local all-time high was 11,000. So it was really close to all-time high. But Ethereum was worth almost nothing. And right now, we see that Bitcoin is still at all-time high and Ethereum is at the bottom area in this purple box. So the second thing that's telling me like, hey, there is a potential chance of a reversal. Now looking at the Ethereum price itself, in 2024, 2025, we didn't saw a run for Ethereum yet. We saw here a major run, a pullback, a brutal one, like going from here to here was a 65% drop to increase another time for 190% going upwards. But yeah, like did the same happen right now? We saw a bottom here at 885, then we had a run back to 4,000, all-time high 5,000, but we couldn't break this 4,000 level. So we did go back to 1,400, and now it seems like it is preparing itself for another run. Of course, it all depends on Bitcoin. If the bull market is over and Bitcoin cannot hold its levels by going sideways or going higher, but in a slower moment than Ethereum and everything, then yeah, of course, things will change. But with these details, like Ethereum is at the bottom area, we see the spike with the price. It is this one, this exactly this move. And Bitcoin dominance is going higher. If we break the yellow line, it is a good thing for us. And also when we look at the others chart, we couldn't break the all-time high of all altcoins together compared to the last cycle. We see that the all-time high was around 500 billion and current all-time high is 450. And it seems like that we are preparing ourselves for the next leg up also on this chart. We broke above the yellow line. Let me zoom in a little bit on the daily for you. And we see it right now better. We broke above the yellow line. We retested it exactly as predicted in the previous video. And not the previous, but like several months ago. And then we saw a huge pump, a pullback, very healthy, because people who bought here or bought here are taking profits here. And what we want to see is we are setting a low here, another low, another low. What we're doing is a high, and high, and then high. This means we are in an uptrend. We are in an uptrend since the beginning of April. And what we want to do is we want to hold this level of 220 billion. So right now it is a great chance, guys, that we see this kind of move. Break above the previous high, set a new low here and a new high here and continue the trend. But if we break below this one, the trend can be a reversal to the downside. So another thing, what is very, very important for everybody in the crypto space is the M2 money supply. This means how much money they've printed since in several periods, and we can see COVID was here. It was only at 15,467, and in only like 2 years they printed 50% of the money. Then nothing came, and then we see that it is now back at all-time high area. So the printer is on, more money is getting into circulation, and this is a good sign, because when there's more money in circulation, this means that people have more money to spend on things. They will invest in higher risk assets, and you know what Bitcoin and altcoins are, a little bit higher risk assets. So they are looking for to spend their money on something, to invest in something which drive the price up, more liquidity and stuff like that. So for now, I'm bullish on Ethereum and the altcoins. Let's see how it unfolds itself. Let me know your thoughts in the comments. Like, what is your opinion about the market? Don't forget to like and subscribe, and I'll see you in the next video. Bye bye.